I hope you are able to hear me and you are able to watch my screen. Any doubts on the last class, what we have discussed? I think I have not shared yesterday video. Let me do this. You need to download all the videos up to date, even from Sridhar Google Drive also. Please download and save in your local mission. Yeah. So I thought of will take up alerts creation today, but it is showing some error message. I'll find out another server. I'll take up that tomorrow. Okay. So today we'll talk about AIM documentation template, application implementation methodology. We'll talk about this now. Yes. Yes. Welcome for our online training sessions. In this session, we'll talk about AIM methodology. What is AIM methodology? AIM methodology is nothing but application implementation methodology. Application implementation methodology. Every client, whenever they are implementing any application or any software, they will maintain documentation. Especially ERP clients, it's mandatory to have the documentation right from the requirement gathering till the production. Okay, so this AIM methodology is introduced by Oracle Corporation. Whoever is implementing Oracle applications, ERP software, will follow this standard templates. Will follow the standard templates. Both functional consultants as well as technical consultants will be going through this documentation templates. Okay, so there will be a document called BR100, business requirement document. We can also call it as a BRD, business requirement document. While writing, we'll write BRO100, but we call it as a BR100. This BR100 is nothing but a setup document. It's a setup document which will be prepared by the functional consultants, especially senior level functional consultants are going to prepare. So if we open BR100, what we will find in that is the organization hierarchy, nothing but multi-org flow, business groups, legal entities, operating units, ledgers, inventories, sub-inventories. This is all information we will find. And also the particular module. For example, if we say this document is related for purchase order BR100, it's nothing but purchase order module, functional setups. All the information we'll find here. Means what are different document sequences we are following. Buyer setup, supplier documents, supplier qualifications, and purchasing line types, lookups, terms and conditions, agreements, all the information. So as a technical consultant, we don't need to worry about this document because this is just a reference purpose we are going to have. Okay. Next, second one is MD50. MD50 is one more document is there, RD20, requirement design document. So this also functional consultant will do. MD50, while writing MDO50 will write, but we call it as a MD50, it a module design or module development. This is prepared by the functional consultant. When functional consultants are interacting with the client, gather the requirement. If that is related for functional setups, they'll do it in BR100 or requirement design document, they'll perform. If that is related for some technical, client says that I would like to see this output. These are the input parameters and filtering options and expected output. It's a report development, right? So then they'll prepare MD50. While preparation of MD50, the functional consultant will mention the expected business requirement, what are the input parameters required for the report, and what are the filtering options, nothing but filter the data from database tables, writing the where clause in our SQL, and then finally expected output, open issues and closed issues. These things will be specified in the MD50. Then MD60. MD60 is a module, sorry, not MD60, MD70. MD70. It's again module design document, and it's going to be prepared by the technical consultant. We have to prepare this. What is our input? MD50 is the input. We have to go through, understand the requirement. If there are any clarifications are required, we will interact with functional consultant who has prepared this document and will get clarified and then finalize. Once the requirement is freezed, then we'll go for design the template, MD70. In MD70, we are going to mention clearly how we are going to develop this report or how we are going to develop this form, what query we are going to write, and what tables we are going to use, what join conditions, what input parameters, what value sets we are preparing, how we are going to design the layout, any other objects we are using. Objects means tables, views, indexes, sequences, any package we are going to call. Are we going to write any triggers? This is all information we are going to specify in this document. Technical documentation is a replica of our program almost. You have prepared successfully MD70 means indirectly you are clear with the logic and you are clear how to do that complete work and finish it. That's what we are going to specify. Once this MD70 is approved, we'll start development of the component, RISE components, reports or forms. We'll start development and we'll go for testing and then we'll deliver to the client. In some projects, what happened? They'll ask us to develop the report first. You can prepare a document during the testing. We have provided MD50. You are clear with the requirement. Let's develop the object and deliver the object. Anyway, client will take some time for review, for testing, and sign off. UAT, user acceptance test. So for this, they'll take some time. Okay. So meanwhile, you can prepare a document. That will also happen. But actual method is first we have to prepare a document, get clarity, approve from the functional consultant, then start development, testing, and production. That's the procedure. In the interview also, we are supposed to explain in the same way. That is about MD50 and MD70. Same thing, we'll find CV40, conversion, functional design, will be prepared by the functional consultant. This is also functional design. And MD70 is a technical design. Then why we required conversion separate format? Because report development and form development is a separate, because those are components. where you will have only one object which we need to develop and test and deliver. But when it comes for the conversions, nothing but interfaces. Multiple objects means multiple programs we are going to group it. And also this process is completely different. That's why separate documentation format or template provided by Oracle. So when we are working for interfaces and conversions, we are supposed to go through this CV40 documents. It's prepared by the functional consultant. CV60, it's a conversion technical design document. It's technical consultant. We are going to prepare. So CV40, or we can call it as a mapping document also. What is the meaning of mapping document? When we are trying to get the data from legacy systems into Oracle EBS, the data which we are receiving from other systems, it may or may not be same format as per our EBS. For example, purchase orders. In EBS, we will enter the information for purchase order at 4 levels: headers, lines, shipments, and distributions. When it comes from the legacy system, they might have entered the data only 2 levels: headers. In the line level itself, they may enter shipment data as well as distributions data also. In that scenario, what functional consultant will do is he will try to understand this legacy systems data and map that information from the legacy to our EBS standard structure, whatever we have. And he will provide to us saying that from the legacy system, you are going to get the purchase order number in so and so column. That you have to insert as it is into Oracle applications purchase order headers table column called segment 1. And you are getting from the legacy system purchase order type as yes, RP, RB, RC. Yes for standard purchase order, P for planned, B for blanket, C for contract. So you are getting the letter as single. Yes. Yes means standard. So whatever the letter you receive from legacy, first you have to verify, is it yes or B or C or P? Out of 4, if it is not there, then you have to reject that record. If it is yes, then make it as a standard. Don't insert yes because Oracle Labs will not allow the letters. It will allow only standard word it will allow. It won't allow single character. But their old system, they are maintaining like that. So you need to convert that information. Yes to standard, B to blanket like that. So that all information will be prepared by the functional consultant in this document. That is what we call it as a mapping document. So the functional consultant should be very clear with the source system and about Oracle applications, the data conversion design he has to do. Development we have to do. Designing will be done by the functional consultant. Development we have to do it. We know that already we have developed inbound interfaces and conversions. Loading the data from flat file to staging table to interface, interface table to base table, then verifying the errors. That all information we are going to specify in CV60 document. It's called technical, conversion technical design document that we will be preparing. Okay. So these conversion documents will come across. Next, we are going to have CR documents, nothing but change request document. When we are working in support project, we will find some changes. We'll get some requests, change requests from client saying that add this parameter or modify the value or create a separate concurrent program with different output, like small changes will be getting, or add this particular logic in PLSQL program for data filtering or validation. So this is all. It comes as CR, change request document. It will be 2-3 pages, not more than that. Sometimes client will prepare, sometimes functional or technical. We are going to get this document and get it clear development, and we'll go for develop and deliver to the client. That's change request document we'll get. MD20 is basically testing document. Test cases we are going to write. Test cases like unit test will be there, integration test will be there, user acceptance test, UAT. Unit test means, for example, we developed one purchase order report. blanket purchase agreement report we have developed. Now client requirement is I need the output, agreement amount, and released amount and balance. That's the output expected. We developed the reports. We written a query. We designed RTF template, XML, BI publisher, and we register that and we are getting output. But before we deliver this, we are supposed to test it. What we have to do? We have to create multiple blanket agreements. Some of the agreements we have to completely release and close. Some agreements we have to create, release partially. Some agreements we have to create and don't go for approval. Like that, different scenarios we will go for to that and run the report for those things. And we'll get some output. That output information we have to mention in this document clearly, saying that I have tested this program. This is the request ID and this is the expected output. These are the input I have passed and expected output is correct or not. This all information will prepare in the document. That's what we call it as a testing document, which is MD20 document. Okay. So these are the documents we will come across as a team member, as a team leader, project manager, delivery manager. They will have different documents. There are some more templates, different templates we have. This also will get at senior level functional consultant. But as a team member, for both functional as well as technical consultants, these templates are sufficient. So these all templates around, I think 20 to 30 templates are there, which are provided by Oracle. We call it as A methodology, application implementation methodology. Nowadays, they are going ahead with OEM methodology also. Oracle unified methodology. This is for cloud, not for Oracle applications. It's for cloud. Okay. If in case if somebody says, do you have some idea? I can say that OEM also is one type of methodology, Oracle unified methodology, which is used for the cloud projects, cloud fusion ERP projects, and it will be done by the cloud implementation. That's enough. But as Oracle applications ERP product, these are the documents you can remember, and in fact, it's required also. Okay, so this is about a methodology. Here it is, a methodology document. Let me show you some of the documents which are similar to our MD70, how it looks like, what information will enter, and CV stick documents also. I'll go for upload those documents also. You can get it and download it. So this is MD70 document, a methodology. It's an extension data. It's procedure we have to develop to extract the data. And who is the client, which module, which year you have created, who is the approvals, document control, change record, reviewed by, distribution. It's a general information we will find, table of contents. And what actually the client requirement assumption means expected. So the client is expecting in the output format, organization ID, organization name, item ID, item name, item description, category, unit of measurement. This is expected output file, outbound interface. So we have to write a query. Organization details will get it from org organization definitions. Item details will get it from MTL system items B, MTL categories table, and MTL units of measures table. These all tables we have to use and join and get the output. And our output file should be generated. Not only the data file, output file also should be generated. How many records has been transferred, and who is the user, responsibility submitted, input parameters. This assignment only we have already done in our outbound interface in our previous sessions. You can just check. The client will give you the program name also. Exactly what is the executable name you are supposed to use, what is the concurrent program name, what is the responsibility name, request group name, data group, all these details. The client will give us, otherwise we will follow it. When we are giving naming conventions, whenever we are giving like value set name, concurrent program name, parameters, okay, request group responsibilities, package name, procedure, table name, sequence, any component we are going to create, there will be some naming conventions we are supposed to follow as per the client requirement. Whenever we join in the project, generally they will provide a document like what naming conventions they are following. Before the component, what name we have to specify. Most of the times client will be specifying either their company name or they'll put it as XX. Whenever we find this word XX in front of the object, then we have to understand, okay, this is custom object, means new object, which is created by our developers, created by our technical consultants. Okay. So this all we are going to have it here, configuration, dependencies and all. So this naming conventions we have to follow. If client says, generally every client will have it. There will be 1 or 2 pages document we have to go through and understand and then go for prepare according to that. Okay. So this is a format. If we work for any client across the world, the format will be same, but we are supposed to fill the information as per the requirement. What is the requirement, business requirement, input parameters, expected output, any data file generation, what objects you are going to use, open issues and closed issues of this particular deliverable. So all these details will be filled in the MS Word doc. Okay. This is a standard format. Thank you. Yes, guys, any doubts here? Is clear how it looks like MD70 and other options? Any doubts here? The same thing we have to explain in the interview also. We have prepared MD70, CV60 documents for conversions. For conversions also, in this system, give me a couple of minutes. So in AIM documents, we have seen MD document format in our previous session. Now this is going to be conversion documents, conversion standards. So as we discussed, there will be a few documents here, but some clients will maintain some more documents. For data mapping, separate document. For strategy, separate document. For testing, separate document, like that. Okay. So in that scenario, we'll find CV40, CV60 main documents. CV40 is a conversion data mapping when we are working with interfaces or conversions, how the data will be mapped, that information will be maintained here. When it comes for the technical point of view, we'll find conversion program design here. CV60, it's going to have a technical. And if at all we are doing some manual conversion procedures, there is a CV50, CV70 conversion testing plans, okay, CV120 installed conversion programs, and we will find CV30 conversion environment information, CV20 conversion standards information, CV10 requirements and strategy. But those all are not. We cannot find all these formats in every client. Few clients will maintain the detailed information like this separate, but main two documents, one is CV40, another one is a CV60. CV40 is a functional, CV60 is a technical document for interfaces and conversion components. Here we can find conversion data mapping. If we go for CV40, the functional consultants, once they are clear with the legacy system, they will specify the standard format, which component and dates. First two pages are very common. Who has reviewed this, who to whom it has been distributed, all this information will find. From fourth page onwards, actual requirement will come. This is related for which component we are trying to load, conversion, validation, processing, translation, filtering, foreign key rules, what tables we have to use, targeted tables and columns. Okay, just now we discussed in our previous session how the data we are getting from legacy, what are the validations we have to do that. Okay, so those all will be given. This is related for our general ledger periods data, and period type we are going to get it from legacy system, and which model we have to upload, GL model, which table, GL period types, GL periods, and headers, lines, and this information. There will be some shortcuts also when we are going through the document. PR stands for processing rule, TR stands for translation rule, filter rule, foreign currency. Okay, these are shortcuts we cannot understand when we join in the project immediately. It takes a couple of days time to understand. That's why when we join in the project, generally every client will give some set of documents. Please go through these documents before we assign the work to you. In that documents, we'll understand what is the project, what exactly we have done, what we are going to do it, and naming conventions and the standard functionalities and coding standards and the codes like this, whatever we have, that we are going to find out in that information. So this is a mapping document will be provided, and then we are going to prepare the CV60 document where we will specify how we will validate that data. For example, client says that you are getting supplier name from legacy system and that you have to validate and load. Functional consultant will not give the details that supplier name you have to validate in so and so table, write this query. He won't tell that. He will say that you are getting supplier name, validate. If it is valid, load into the base tables. If it is not valid, errored out into error table. That's what he will say. We must be very clear how to do that validation by writing SQL query or PLSQL program. Okay. Same thing, purchase order type. So they'll tell that there are four types of purchase order: standard, planned, blanket, and contract. You have to verify whether this PO type is valid or not. So how we will do, we'll write a simple if statement, whatever the PO type you are receiving from legacy system, whether it's valid or not. So we'll write if statement, if the PO type equal to standard or planned or blanket or contract, it's valid. Otherwise, it's going to be invalid. Okay. So that all pseudo logic, we call it as a pseudo code. Pseudo code we call it as. Okay. That pseudo code will be specifying here. how we are going to do that. Are we writing a PLSQL block? Are we writing any cursor? Are we writing any separate procedure? How we will handle exception block? Like this pseudo code we'll write in the CV60 documents. In the interviews also, they'll be asking us like what exactly you will mention in CV60. CV60, we are going to write all the interface validations, whatever we are going to do it, and what tables we are going to use. Complete pseudo code we are going to specify here. It means almost like a coding without testing. We'll write that. And once we are clear with this all testing, then we will try to upload this data and we'll develop a program and we'll go for test and load the data. So that's what we have to explain in the interview point of view. Okay. Then testing document, just now we discussed that how the test cases will be created. Then really it will be MD20. We will have test documents. MD120, sorry. It will be 120, MD120 document. Okay. So this is about the AIM documentation part, which we'll be using. As a team member, up to this point is sufficient. We don't need to go for in-depth of that, but it's a standard. Obviously, when we attempt for any interviews, definitely they will ask us, can you tell me what documentation you are going to follow and which documents you have prepared so far and which documents you have gone through, what information you have prepared in the document. This all they'll expect from us. So we are supposed to be very clear all this information. Okay. Thank you. Yes, guys, any doubts here, please, about the AIM documents point of view? Tell me, please.
Pseudocode column.
Pseudocode means for example, I want to validate the supplier name, right? So begin, select vendor name into some L underscore name from AP suppliers where vendor name equal to cursor name. Like this. It's almost 90% of code, but not fully developed and tested. So you have written pseudocode means you have written the complete logic. So we have to just apply with syntax and test that particular program. That's what we call it as a pseudocode.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine, guys. Let's go through this. Tomorrow we will go for alerts creation. We'll see that alert. We'll take one example. Same example you can explain in the interview also. So alert requirement we got like this and we prepared like this. That's you can go for perform this. Okay. Thank you. Let's see you tomorrow. Same time, 10:30.